Come now, all you mangy dogs. Swab the decks and hoist the sails. The guns on board be needing some proper manning. Pieces of 8 and a fine wench on your arm. If your work be not too shoddy. Careful not to flounder too badly, though, or you may have to dance the hempen jig as we see you to Davy Jones. Jeffy, my boy, on with the show.
Welcome, everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to our latest weekly edition of Pirate Radio Podcast. It's episode number 365. How about that? 365 is what we're looking at. Almost, well, we'll get to the numerological significance in just a moment or two when we introduce our featured guest of the week, Vadali Lotus, aka Tonya Ben Mansour. I'm guessing, assuming that's a French surname, but we'll leave it at that for now. So just to remind you, of course, I, as always, am your trusted host and companion, the show's chief communications officer, Jaffe Ryder. WPRPN.com is the website. We've got back online. We had a host support issue there for a couple of weeks and finally managed to get things back up and running. So drop by the homepage, check it out. Sign up is free. All you simply need is the username, password, and email. Speaking of emails, WPRPN.com is ours. If you'd like to help us out on the PayPal front, always appreciated. Or have any show suggestions, or even perhaps, guest ideas in mind. So liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit subscription notification buttons, and passing word along to friends, family, or co-workers. It's all good stuff. Let's not forget. So, as with the aforementioned PayPal end of things, we also have pirate swag up for grabs via galacticfire.com. So check out the show description end of things. Various links we have available, easily accessible for the curious-minded wanting to navigate around and see where things lead them. So, and digital support, always appreciate as well. And anything you can possibly imagine, just encourage everyone to think outside the box, keeping in mind throughout the course of things, half of everything that we do manage to generate goes directly back to the grassroots, to charity, folks. Hashtag WWRHD. What would Robin Hood do? Probably something along those lines. Most certainly giving back to the people. So, on with the show. For all you numerology fans, it's episode number 365. I guess that's almost 1 year in solar terms. The Earth's rotation around the sun. Maybe even for the flat earthers, could be some agreement as well. Who really knows? So this week's featured guest is author, yogini, Reiki master, teacher, licensed massage therapist, and martial arts instructor, Tonya Ben Mansour, or as I prefer, maybe she'll set us straight here in a moment or two, Mansour, aka Vadali Lotus. I'm betting she's of Akkadian ancestry, but setting that aside, for the time being. Uh, we'll let you know that with over 3 decades of dedicated practice, Tonya stands as a distinguished figure at the intersection of martial arts and holistic wellness. Her expertise, let's see if what we got there on the technical front. Her expertise is anchored in 30 years of Wushu and Sanda, complemented by second-degree black belt in Iki Krav Maga and Taekwondo, creating a rare synthesis of traditional discipline and modern self-defense. Her teaching legacy is further enriched by roots in the Laijitsu family style and a Bushido Black Belt. As a Reiki master, Tonya seamlessly integrates 35 years of martial arts and meditative study with professional wellness education. As if her credentials weren't already enough, she's also a licensed massage therapist, yoga teacher, and founder of the Raphael Rapid Trauma Release Modality Method. Welcome all the way from, I believe it's Mobile, Alabama, Tonya Ben Mansour. So thank you for connecting, Tonya. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaffe, for the opportunity. And you pronounced it correctly. It's Tonya Ben Mansour.
Yeah,
Um,
are you originally of Acadian ancestry? French Canadian?
there is some Akkadian, but that name is it's left over. I've been divorced, I guess, around 12 years, so it's still my ex-husband's name. My children wanted me to keep the name with them, so for me, it's just a name.
Oh, I
So
see. I see.
yeah,
What was your main,
it's
if you don't
actually
your
oh, my
maiden
maiden
name?
name was
Yeah.
Tolbert.
I'm sorry?
Tolbert.
Tolbert. Okay. Well, I'm not even going to hazard a guess on that one. So, yeah, continue, please. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, names and roses and such. But yeah, no. So, but no, Ben Mansour is actually it's strange because it's Tunisian, it's Arabic, but
Mm-hmm.
it's spelled the Hebrew way. It's both a Hebrew and Arabic name. And even though my ex-husband's from North Africa and he's Arabic, his name is spelled in the Hebrew way. Kind of
Well,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, there is a very strong Jewish connection to that region
There
of
is.
the
It's
world,
yeah.
Ethiopia and so forth, and that's a hot issue these days with that angle. In fact, and their interactions with relations, ties to the ancient region of Palestine, really, of which, as
Yeah.
I look at it, Israel supplanted itself or imposed itself, like, oh, we'll
It
build a
really
country.
did. If you look at the logistics of that, I mean, the really, in all fairness, the people, the Canaanites that were there, some of them left, Philistines and Canaanites, some of them left. They met the Zoroastrians, they formed Judaism, and then they came back. Well, you left, and you did whatever, and
Yeah.
so you can't come back and be like, oh, we're coming back with this new thing, and you have to do what we say and be in this way and have to let us be here. um it's
Let's not even get started. Let's not down this
we can have a whole show
road.
on
Yeah,
that.
we talk about that quite a lot in during the news segments that we've archived, even feature shows over the course of the past 10 years or so. But mostly, you're here for a quality Dharma talk, frankly, and I'm really
Yeah,
wanting to uh, do as much of a deep dive and exploration as I'm
let's
sure
do
many of
it,
our
please.
listeners are. Yeah. We got Buddha's birthday coming up here in Korea. I'm assuming you knew that was where I was based out of, right?
Yeah,
So
Vsmack, it's the first full moon in May, is it?
I guess, yeah, it's coming up, I think in a couple weeks, basically. We just had Kids Day. So, yeah, it's usually,
Yeah, they
uh,
celebrate his birth, his enlightenment, and his death all on one day,
Really? Well,
they say.
I didn't know that. Well, that's something. So, Sangro Pyangsa, as we say here in South Korea, sang life, birth, ro, grow. So many Korean words. If you look at the etymology or philology, it's like, why is that so similar? So that's another show all in itself too. But ro, grow, pyong, apuda, which means hurt or pain, and then suffering essentially. Uh, Something's out of whack, and sa meaning death. So there we go. But mostly what I remember, because I haven't visited a temple here in some time on during the course of Buddha's birthday, but watching the little baby Buddha,
Yeah,
yeah. So, but let's and kind of just the symbolism, significance of that, and the way for me of washing, helping the little baby Buddha, as with the Christ, they're all like, they can't, how can they defend themselves? So we're there to, clean them up and get them so they're in good working order. But it's also a sense, the way I look at it, uh, is our own cleansing as well too, our mistakes that we've made, sins is what they call them, but which really, it just means to miss the mark, as
hmm
with like someone
yeah,
taking a
be
shot, or so.
misaligned,
Pardon me.
to be misaligned. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the mark.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So, okay, well, why don't we hear a little bit more about yourself, then your history, how you got into the Buddha Dharma. You've been a Zen practitioner, I guess, for and a meditator for quite some time.
Yeah. Not a Zen practitioner though. I Zen came a bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so my practice is very, very, very simple. Like would predate or date back with like Theravada
Oh,
tradition.
so
Yeah.
you first came into contact to introduce the Theravada Buddha
tradition.
Dharma. You've been a Zen
No,
practitioner,
actually,
I
it was
guess.
first introduced to Zen. You are correct. It was first introduced to Zen. My Shifu is a Shaolin monk, and he practiced Chan Zen, and so I learned meditation through martial arts. And actually, as a little kid, um, I saw my first martial arts movie and really wanted to be a monk.
Uh-huh. Oh, go ahead.
And so
Yeah. Hmm.
I would try to do what I thought was meditation, which was just me as a little kid sitting really still and closing my eyes and doing whatever. But then when I wanted to train martial arts and my parents wouldn't let me, and then some violent occurrence happened when I was about 8 and they agreed. So I learned, and it was odd because what I learned about meditation wasn't really different from what I was kind of instinctively doing as a kid. And then I learned, but when he would talk about the Dharma, and I'm not saying that com- he's misaligned. The teachings, some of them go out of alignment with what is directly stated in the Pali Canon
Oh,
and
this is the
the
guest we
Vinaya.
had. Sorry, so I didn't quite hear you. I'm sorry for jumping in, but this was the Sri Lankan monk that we had on a couple weeks ago. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, continue, please. Sorry, just to be clear. Yeah.
Um, and they say that they are Theravada, and their practice is not Theravada, but it's okay. Um, but so when he would talk about certain things, I, I knew that that wasn't like it wasn't it, and so I would just kind of do my wushu, do the meditation, all this stuff. But I would go and learn and seek out what I could on my own. And my own practice was very Theravada like, but I had no real communities to support that. So I kind of roamed around with other types and, like, oh, what are the witches up to?
Ah,
What do they do? And mingled with lots of different types of people because I was interested in what people thought was driving all of this, what people thought awakening was from these various perspectives.
okay. Hey, quick question. Do you have any like a YouTube or anything like that open on your end or like a monitor kind of if you could turn down your monitors, we often find like an echo sort of feedback loop taking place when we talk to people. Get a little bit of static from time to time here as
I'm
things.
just closing out all the other apps. Is that better?
So far, keep at it. Let's
Okay.
have it.
Yeah, it's just I closed out all the other apps on my
Excellent.
phone.
Good.
And so I just cut out I guess I looked at what Buddha did, I cut out all the fluff and what is only what is directly taught, not some person's interpretation, you know, um, some Alan Watts or some such, and I really I paid attention to what these people said. It's kind of like how some people have a good upbringing, and so they learn love and respect and compassion from their family. And some of us did not have a kind upbringing, so we learned compassion through darkness. And so when I would hear something that, was contradictory, I would just, you know, let it go.
Oh, with
And
our monk friend from Sri Lanka a couple weeks ago. Just once again, yeah. So, uh,
speaking of
oh, I
speaking of false karma and bad, gross misinformation.
well, and that's the reason that because we saw your comments there, in the live stream, and we reached out to you and just asked your take on things, and decided that it would be an idea to maybe have
Yeah,
you drop by and share your own
I,
particular take. Let me
I
just say
am
though, let me just quickly the context, the way that it struck me was that the way that the Catholic Church is run, or the way that the Tibetan system is set up through the Tantric Vajrayana kind of Guru Rinpoche student teacher
which is
relationship,
probably everything Buddha didn't teach.
and
Go ahead,
and
sorry.
Hinduism too, right? Like with the guru, but it's problematic. It is problematic, and I did mention to you, of course, I bounced off of you this reference to the famous PDF stripping the gurus. I encourage everyone out there listening to check out. You can do it now, even if you like in real lifetime, stripping the gurus, because of just, and this kind of dovetails into Teal Swan, perhaps one of your great one of the people out there who you don't exactly see eye to eye on when it comes to I guess
There's so many of them.
yeah. So what do you have to say regarding this whole matter then, as far as teacher student relationships? There is a place for them to some extent, yes?
There is, but okay, I never sought out to be a spiritual guide or teacher, but was kind of put in that role even as early as 13 and 14 years old. I had other kids that were like, "Hey, can you teach me the meditation?" And just messing around with different esoterics or whatever. And that's how it kind of started. And so I look at all, and I study the whole cult dynamic and what, just because as someone that has been put in this role called to do these things, I want to check myself. I want to make sure that I am completely, ethical and as I should be really walking that walk. And so I look at my relationship with my students as very much, hey, you're in a dark place, you're seeking. You come here because you see a light. So sit with me. I'll sit with you in your darkness, and I'll shine my light, and I'll give you tools that you can use to not see. Because they do. They will rely on you. A lot of guidance first. But any teacher working this role is going to want to empower you and get you out from underneath their feet. You know, they're not going to try and hold on to you with these contracts and ultimatums. And you know, with my students, I would say I teach a lot by silence.
Yeah. Yes, it's a great teacher. Pain, suffering, I find to be a excellent uh, way of learning. Of course, death, so many things. The nature, the birds, just my children that I work with from time to time. The younger people, that is, that look up to me here,
Yeah,
is I'm the Sansingnim, the one who's elder born, born before them. So, but really, they teach me a lot. They teach me a lot. So, and just listening to them.
they do. I love the young babies.
Sure.
I teach. Well, we're out for the summer, but once a week I go to a preschool and teach yoga to a group of 2 to 5 year olds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, I
Well,
love them. There's
mm-hmm. And just to be clear, the term yoga, it means union, essentially. Union with God or with
a
ourselves or both. What's the deal there?
whole lot of stuff, going on with yoga. We could do a whole other episode on that,
Well, just
but
uh-huh.
uh, but I digress. Regarding the monk, I didn't even make it very far into the interview. Honestly,
Ah,
I'd had enough at the opening when he said that unless you hear the Dharma transmitted by orally by someone who is enlightened, you will never reach enlightenment. That is some
yeah.
magical stuff. Gobbledygook, just
Yeah, well,
gobbledygook.
the question is, where in the sutras does it say this, right?
It
I
doesn't, and I've done so much research. I'm gonna just go through some things. All right. The transition to self awakening happens when you take stability gained from the candle or the sound and apply it to your thoughts. All right. Kula Sanata Sutta, MN 121, suggests to start with preparing the forest, external world, move to the perception of earth, Sravana, listening, Vijara Sutta, SN 5.10. Awakening involves realization of no permanent, just as with assemblage of uh, parts, the word chariot is used. So then the aggregates and are present.
mm.
There is the connection of being. Enlightenment is described as an extinguishing fires of greed, hatred, and delusion, rather than an evaluation of a permanent ego.
The three poisons, samdok, as they're known here
And
in
here's the
South
seven
Korea.
here's the seven factors of enlightenment: mindfulness, sati, investigation, dharma, nikaya, energy, viraya, joy, piti, tranquility, pasadani, concentration, samadhi, equanimity, upekkha. Um, the Buddha really stresses about self awakening. All right. Um, in the Mahakata Risaka Sutta, MN 117, bhikkhus while abiding mindfulness, bhikkhu with wisdom reflects thinking that matter in the time the enlightenment factor investigation begins to start up the bhikkhu.
Mm. Hey, thank you for that. We still have, there's if you could turn down the monitors, the sound, perhaps my sound coming through on your end, uh, if you could,
I have a monitor. I'm on my phone.
yeah, just the volume level, that you've got it
Your
set at.
volume level? Sure.
Yeah, if you could just
Yeah.
reduce it, that would, I'm presuming that'll help, at least a little bit. So,
Okay. Is
yeah. Uh,
that better?
oh well, yeah. I mean, it comes and it goes. So it just, and it sounds like you might even have
Turn the
some dust somewhere too, in one of the. I think it's on your end. You know how dust gets in the input jacks and kind of causes a little
there we go.
interference. But no, we got the gist of it though. We got the and that's great. That is so, just even, see, I think he was partly right in this, to the extent that it's important every time I hear Dharma talks, and especially the way we're doing it now, or with our monk friend from Sri Lanka, that it leaves an impression. You know, you've heard the term samskara, presumably, right? And it's
Yeah.
interesting. We're talking during the pre-show, I think, when I brought that up, how with English, Sanskrit, and even Korean, there's something going on there, folks. Connect the dots. But
Yeah.
samskara, and it's like it leaves this, the everything seems to leave an imprint on our field of consciousness, I guess, as
And
it's
that's
known right now.
present. That doesn't necessarily mean an auditory, but the Buddha really spoke against little charms and superstitions. And that's where, when he made very distinct distinctions between, Sanatana Dharma and Vinaya Dharma, or, the Dharma that he taught, that's very superstitious to go, you will never get enlightened unless you hear the Dharma spoken by an enlightened being.
Mm.
When the Buddha specifically said also, that I leave behind the Dharma and the Vinaya as your teacher.
Yeah, yeah. Work out your salvation with diligence. I believe that was,
Yes,
do good, cease evil, and
there's
purify
no,
the mind.
and when you see these monks chanting a lot, Buddha spoke a lot about against chanting. And that was another distinction he made about Sanatana Dharma and his Dharma, is how there are certain Vedas that and Brahmins that practice, and they believe that by chanting alone, that this will get them some sort of enlightenment, and it won't. And it's because they base it just on the sound, and those sounds and sound does have its own medicinal quality.
Mm-hmm.
The vagus nerve has to be stimulated to produce sound in the body, but when you chant something and then you become reliant on the chant,
Okay, we.
he forbade them from chanting for, protection, as a wrong livelihood.
Okay, I think I just sabotaged. You can still hear me, can you? Can you still hear me?
Hello?
Oh, you can't. You can't hear me. Whoops. Hang on. Okay, let's see. Well, we're gonna have to hang up here, folks, and then reconnect. Hopefully, not too much of an issue. But bear with us, and thank you to Zane Ivy, who we've seen help set things straight, clarify the fact that I guess it's May 24th, Buddha's birthday this year, via South Korea. So a lot of people who don't normally go to the temples will take that particular time of year, the 24th, to do so. I'm back. Can you hear me? Oh, now we've lost.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
You
Can you hear
there?
me? Can, are we good?
I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, I know what happened. I committed live streaming suicide. No, not in a literal way, but from a technological standpoint, yeah. It's no big deal. So just, you know,
But
yeah.
no, and also there's problematic. Those monks all hold personal bank accounts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, touching money, all
I
that
cannot
stuff.
hear you.
Oh, what? Hello. You
You
should
have
be
gone dark. No sound.
you should be able to hear me. You can see me? Yes. Okay. So, yeah, son of a gun.
I can't
Darn.
hear you.
Okay. Let's see. We'll drop out here one more time. Oh boy, that was odd. Not sure why that was. So let's give it a whoops. Bear with us here, folks. We apologize for the technical issues we find. This is sometimes the case. Unfortunately, we're going to unmute from this end. Hopefully, this as well. Join the meeting, and it won't be a big deal. Did I push the wrong button here or something? Maybe I did, by God. Okay. There. Maybe I put, yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Good.
That we're okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Um. It's he warned about chanting, and he forbade monks from like chanting for people, like for to get them money or things like that. He did later, I guess what is he allowed them to chant the paritas or the protection verses because value comes from truth of the word, not the sound itself. So do not become dependent on the chanting.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a tool, right? It's a technique and a
Right.
means to an
So
end,
take
I guess.
that and apply it to the superstition of you have to hear the Dharma spoken by an enlightened person to reach them. And that's just so dangerous. What if you were thinking about embarking on a spiritual journey and you hear that? Like, would that, like, what if someone, I mean, they're like, well, what are my chances of running into an enlightened person? Why even try? It's like Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, we've got millions of members, but only 144,000 are getting in. Hey, you're not getting in, but come try anyway.
Cult of the
Like
Illuminati. Jehovah's
it's
Witnesses.
and that's sort of erroneous dharma. And I get
Yeah.
it. He hasn't been a monk very long. He hasn't had very many years to study. They're trying to get money or whatever it is they're getting, you know, but it's simply not.
Okay.
It's
Well,
dangerous.
one of the things I'd like to ask you about actually is your knowledge of the history of Buddhism, how it evolved, how it emerged in the north, made its way down south through to Sri Lanka, southern India, and all spreading through southeast Asia, and then 500, or maybe 400 years later, suddenly reemerged back up north in a new form, a new kind of updated neo.
That,
What
that's
what
where,
what was behind it? But there were councils too. Don't forget, right? There are various
Mhm.
councils that were held
Yeah,
along the way. So, do you know your history more better than I do? I hope so.
yeah, there were a council of 500 monks, bhikkhus that, or arhats that initially, wrote down as everything that they could remember from the canon and to form the canon and the Vinaya. Or and then about the time of Christ, the Bodhisattva concept emerged, and that began Mayahana.
It isn't.
Then
Yeah. That.
gave birth to Zen, to Chan, to Pure Land, and all of this. And they really kind of dove into the delusional, mystical, more superstitious elements. And I think that it comes from the ego of those teachers, the reluctance to let go of conditioned superstition, whatever the case is, the bodhisattva, okay, if you look at it, it makes no sense. If, okay, let's say I'm a bodhisattva and I'm going to not take full enlightenment, or I'm here to help others reach enlightenment. And then once all sentient beings become enlightened, then I take enlightenment. You have everyone on different evolution levels of
Yeah,
consciousness and
yeah.
awareness. Like, it's never going to happen. It's a trap.
Well, that's what I was, and that just recently struck me, interestingly, after like almost probably 30 years at least.
It's
It's like
so
it's the
silly.
Matrix trap. It's like, does this because and so how does that compare then to the Arhat ideal of the Theravadan tradition or Arhant?
The Theravada tradition is you're accountable for your own.
Forget about everybody else. No compassion.
No, no, no. The concept of bodhisattva in Theravada is to do good where you can, but
Mm-hmm.
do not, if we are going to do every action with compassion, help where you can,
Yeah.
but don't be uncompassionate to yourself to help someone else.
Idiot compassion as Chogyam Trungpa talked about. So that's
Yeah.
where I first, thus have I heard.
The bodhisattva is to do all actions with, you know, really just mindfulness, spatial awareness. Am I eating up another person's space? You know, speaking with the three gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If not, shut up.
That's where I have a problem myself sometimes with my lame attempts at amateur comedy. It's like, should I really go this far in busting somebody's balls or not? Do
Sometimes
I
it needs
dare?
to be done, though. I mean, sometimes there are so many instances. You look at Deepak Chopra, holy moly.
Did you hear how he got caught up in the Epstein files?
Oh my God, saying that God is a construct, but cute girls are real and they make noise, or oh my God. Yeah,
Whoops.
no.
Yeah, yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
Dalai Lama, let's, full disclosure here. The Dalai Lama, now a lot of people were mentioned in the Epstein files. So, and then Dalai Lama as well, but they've talked about him, but there's not much coming out yet on him as being some sort of, uh, you know, uh,
I
radical
don't
pervert.
think that but I don't know. I've never really gotten good vibes from the Dalai Lama, to be honest.
Hmm. Well, I guess it's not for us to, I don't know if it's not for us to judge.
Better than some, but there is just something off, and you know, it doesn't concern me. I don't walk that path. And to me, I don't consider Vajrayana to be actual Buddhism. I mean,
Uh-huh.
Buddha was like, don't worship these gods, don't do these silly rituals and these
Well,
spells. And
Yeah, but you know what? You're familiar with the Bön tradition, correct? And
yeah,
but the original, I guess, Tibetan shamanism as it existed for quite some time, and how it was sort of problematic that they had to merge and incorporate the two as it made its way over the Himalayas. It was all, what was it? The marriage of a Mongol or Chinese princess and it was complicated, that whole business, how things first took off circa what, the 8th century, 7th or 8th century. So,
right.
you know, but yeah, what can you do? I understand. It's, I think, but isn't it true that the foundation, like each, whether it's Theravadan or Mahayana and Vajrayana.
Talking, I'm gonna go dark for a moment.
Pardon me? Oh, okay. You can still hear me?
Yes.
The basics are all the same though, right? Like with things like the three poisons, four noble truths, three marks of existence. They're all, whether they're all this. There is a common ground within all of Buddhism, is there not?
A little bit, a little bit. Give me one moment.
Okay. Just take your time. Take your time. We'll just remind people, of course, that we are speaking this week with feature guest via, I believe it's Mobile, Alabama. Uh, Validi, I think I've got that right with her nickname or Dharma name, Lotus, aka Tonya Ben Mansour. And rather than go through the whole introductory, uh, breakdown,
I'm back.
okay, of her bio, just remind people that martial arts and Buddha Dharma are and holistic well-being, central to what she's really all about, and her, I guess, in finding her purpose uh in this world, in this life. You talked about,
I'm back.
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, this business of being a monk, or biguni, as they call them here in Korea.
I plan to go forth at some point, but
Oh, I see.
it's kind of like it's been like this star-crossed lover affair with that. So that was what I originally wanted to be when I grew up,
Right,
and then I learned that women were not ordained for a time in the Theravada tradition.
right.
So I went and like got married and had kids, and like,
Uh-huh.
but healing and stuff like that's always been present. I mean, I went to massage school right out of high school because my grandmother, I would just instinctively touch people. Like I just wanted to make everyone feel better. And my grandmother had RA, and I would instinctively, and it made her feel better. And so
Good.
when I graduated, she bought me, an entrance into massage school. But I learned that women couldn't be ordained. So I got married, and I have amazing children that are 17 and 15 now, and once they are grown in a few years, I plan to fully go forth. But so until then, I've just practiced as deeply as I can.
Mm-hmm.
That way when I go forth, it's just going to be a little step instead of like this shock.
Yeah, well, the Dharma community, Sir Sangha in particular, we need more practitioners and teachers, really, too, that are deeply, they've read and studied. Um, there's a lot of high profile ones having, written books and so forth, and gained quite a reputation. That, like, Pema Chodron is one that comes to mind, and who's the other one who works with the Doctor Thurman? Doctor Thurman. Thich Nhat Hanh, of course, was epic, just,
Look
legendary.
up Tik Tong Lak.
Oh yeah, is he Vietnamese as well?
Yeah, I teach yoga and dharma at a monastery. It was so weird. Like I live in the Bible Belt, right? But
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of Buddhist temples here, but I randomly found this Theravada temple, like through a random Uber driver. It
Hmm.
was like, are you Buddhist? And he I said, yeah, and he was like, well, if you have time, I'll show you this temple in town. And so I finally got time to go, and I went. And I guess it was like my second time going there, and I'm the only not Vietnamese person there. And I just met this wonderful Sangha, and I've been teaching yoga and Dharma for the adolescents for the last almost 2 years. Oh my
I
God.
thought I thought I thought Vietnamese were Mahayana, like almost like a sort of Pure
No,
Land.
there's a very, yeah, there is a big presence of Theravada in Vietnam.
Well, Thich Nhat Hanh was
Um,
Zen, so there's both, really, is what you're
yeah,
saying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Really look in. I'll send you a link if you want. I can do it right now. I will send you a link
No rush.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
Masters.
Hey, chaos magic as well too. Because you're someone like as myself. I'm very like non-sectarian actually when it comes to what path do you pursue or most closely identify with. Just I'm more of just an observer and someone who if it and it's kind of like what Buddha talked about, right? If it after you test it, if it seems to make sense, then see how far you can take it and what it does for you, basically. So, but this, yeah. Chaos magic, the left hand path, and I know you've got a lot to say, like on your YouTube channel, a few things at least about things of that sort. So why don't we have you unpack uh, what you like to regarding
Oh
this whole business?
gosh.
Jack Sparrow, practitioner of someone who chaos magic is a big thing. Mister Jack Johnny Depp Sparrow.
Yeah. Chaos. Well, it's really just kind of pointing out the difference because I mean, I don't really feel the need to practice these things, and I have had some interesting teachers when I was in high school. I ended up meeting some pagans around, and they were all older. They were, one of them, my teacher of 26 years for like herbalism and different things like that, passed away. But they were all like, one of them was a a teacher at a high school that I ended up going to. So they were a lot older than me, and I ended up, studying and practicing with them. And so, this training of understanding, the traditional way of your gathering intention, but see, the thing is that to do that creates so much karma, so much more than the practice. It's just not worth it.
How so? Exactly.
Well, karma begins with thought.
Right.
Karma begins with intention.
Yeah. It's just with the word for those who are kind of not aware. It just means action. So thought, of course, being the most
Right.
subtle. That's the one I often struggle with. You have these goofy monkey mind kind of thoughts bouncing around, and of course, okay, back to the
So,
breath, back, and then
I mean, I haven't really messed with it. I haven't had a need to.
uh-huh.
Um, I did. Someone did actually send me some really nasty energy several months back. Just some, I don't even know, and because I don't really hang out with anyone, and so I just kind of, but I didn't have to do this whole thing. For me, it's just all I need is this, and just reflected whatever thoughts you have, whatever you're trying to send here, just you can have it. Um, but I don't feel the need to create all of that. I'm not really trying to create any more anchors here.
hmm
But traditionally, a magician, they gather their intention, their energy, and everything, and then they send it off.
Right.
But then they're taught to like follow up with the result, like to chase it.
Ah,
And chaos magic is completely different in that you do all of this, you charge your energy, you gather it all up, and then you throw it out, and then you totally detach to it.
right.
In order to do it successfully, you need to have mastered stillness and
Mm.
meditation because you have to let it go, pop into stillness, and just let the motion and the chaos of there's so much, it'll go where it needs to go. Let it ride the wind.
Yeah, well, send it my way. I because I was instructed one of my teachers back in the day.
But you have to let it go and never think of it again.
Right, yeah, with
That's
no,
the
yeah,
trick.
yeah, no expectations of anything in return. Just like I've heard your yoga students talk about this a little bit in one of the videos I checked out the other day, raising the vibration, of course, and just visualization of transforming the energy from the lower chakra area up through spine, I guess. I'm Trust me, I'm no expert in this whole business, but it's interesting because you can't feel it, and there's different things that do occur. And then, but ultimately through the crown, it's Tong Lin was what I was taught, what I was um, directed to back in the day, the giving and receiving. So basically taking in all the darkness in the world, all the darkness, the suffering, the pain, the insanity, fearlessly, fearlessly taking it in, working with it. Um, and that includes yourself, of course, too, all the insanity and confusion that exists within our own selves, and then raising it, transforming it, and releasing it in its purest filtered sense. And the way I look at it ultimately on that level is so that asking that it find the right destination. And it, because there's a lot of people out there that are in need of help, right? That they're calling out
Yeah.
like for angels or some intervention or something to give them a bit of a lift from out of the darkness that they find themselves in. And that's my intent. That's it. There we go. So,
Same.
mm, yeah.
It's
So,
that's just all these things I've studied and learned over the years. It's because I mean, oh my, the things I was born into, just horrifying. And so learning to love yourself in a really dark place as a small child, realizing that people around you are not, they're not there for you. And so I figured out how to not suffer with it then. And so that's everything I've done is it's like deeper levels. Like how many levels can I work with a person on? How many levels can we unlock, you know? And how deep can we release and how greatly can we step into the acceptance?
acceptance of what exactly,
Life as it is.
right?
Stop clinging to things, someone's mother dies and then 15 years later they're still depressed about it. Like that's what the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path, if you really put that into practice, then you're not going to be grieving someone for 15 years. That is ridiculous. It's mental illness. The mind is unable to let go. It's sick.
Yeah. Well, we all are to one extent or another mentally diseased, correct? We're not fully enlightened. The potential is there, I guess, but the we're not eased, and so we're all a little diseased. So that's
Mhm.
where it's interesting to me why with meditation is a kind of medication. It's just that one.
I always put on my note on my Facebook, medication is the best or meditation is the best
Of course,
medication. And
look
it
at
is.
they gave it to us in the language. They told us. They just changed the T and the C around for those with eyes to see. Just flip that
Yeah.
consonant around, and that's one of the things I think was a takeaway from once again the elder Teto. You know, I so Sri Lankan name was beyond me, but our Biko friend from out of Sri Lanka that talking about
Kesbiwi.
you have his name, yeah.
Yes, Kesbiwi.
Okay, there you go. But
Yeah. The little Japanese guy that he always has with him. Um, he messaged me one day and he was like,
you know him
he
personally?
was like- yeah, he was like, we were talking about Reiki. And then he was like, "Oh, can you give me money? Here's my bank account. I need money for my diabetes medication."
Oh,
Okay, first of all, as a wellness person, yes, I have empathy for, but type 2 diabetes is literally a choice. You choose that disease.
really? It's
Yeah, type 1, you're born that way. Type 2, you didn't take care of yourself, you didn't do the right things, and you ended up with that.
is that by eating too much
And then
sugar?
drinking too much alcohol, too much sugar, like all of that, yeah, and
Wow,
not exercising.
mm,
Type 2 diabetes is 100% a choice. And he this is what was he messaged me, asked me for money, which monk is not supposed to do. And then for your illness that, if you're not insulin dependent, so all you have to do is eat correctly and take a 45-minute walk once a day. If you were following the monk's diet, you wouldn't have diabetes like that.
Yeah, they
Mm,
because they do eat some pretty decent
and
quality food.
but
Mm-hmm.
you have a bank account that and then you ask me for money, and then when I mentioned, I was like, "What about monastic code, sir?" And he's like, "Oh, many friends help with medication," and I'm like, "You guys just built this big, beautiful sangha with glass enclosures and air conditioning. You're bragging about how beautiful it is. Don't you reserve sangha money for the health of your bhikkhus? Where are the priorities there?"
Yeah. Oh, and then you
And I'm
said,
not mean.
mm-hmm,
I'm not trying to be a bitch,
right.
okay? But as the observer, and I'm very deep in this past. So when I encounter someone that comes at me like I'm just some stupid white girl and you've been a monk for like 4 years, so you think you know something, um, but you come at me sideways with something that's utterly not true, and you have a bank account, sir. What have you let go of?
So that is an issue. Hyungkak Sanim was very. I don't know if you know Hyungkak. Do you know Hyungkak Sanim? He was a really renowned Korean American monk. He left because of the corruption. It made
Yes,
national news. It made
I've been
national news.
considering actually becoming a self-ordained monk because I'm sorry, Chinese stocking monk lady with the three husbands and the, $1,500 panties you're wearing to the club. Like, who, I'm not
Oh,
perfect, but at least I'm not doing all that, and I just don't really feel like I like y- give that person the authority to ordain what? No, no, dude, no.
the folks that we have out there connecting with us, whether through Facebook or YouTube, there's a number of you we see, as well as lurkers who we don't. But either way, keep your comments, thoughts, questions coming. We've got Tanya. I'll just call you Tanya Lotus. I don't know, Tanya.
Just call me Tanya. I've I've
Tanya's.
I've
Yeah,
I've
that's
to work, I'm sure.
yeah. You can call me Bluebird if you want. Actually, that's my Korean name, Bluebird. Which the wife.
Bluebird,
Yeah.
I just took an actual Dharma name. We had a monk come and she gave us all Dharma names at the Sangha, and it's Tamtree. So,
What's that mean?
Um, in the context she gave it to me, it's basically like the light behind enlightenment, the unwavering light.
Oh, so like foundation, something a little like deeper. Uh,
Yeah, I'll grab the
mhm.
little
And you're aware,
this
it's
should
interesting too, the term guru itself means, from what I understand, from out of the darkness into the light. So,
huh?
sure, the Freemasons love that one. they're all
Oh,
they're
my grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason.
well, that you could easily be yourself then too, if that's the case. So, because they love to keep it in it's a
I don't
family
know where the
tradition.
equipment. I don't
Yeah. Well,
Actually, I did
have you?
spend 6 years. I was an Eastern Star for 6 years from the age of 18 to 24.
There you go. Yeah.
Or like, yeah,
Well, let's
just
hear.
to learn. And I
Sure,
was like,
sure.
whoa, this is what are we doing? I gotta go, like,
Well, I've heard it said that at its roots, that Freemason, a lot of the so-called the Porch Masons, just the first, second, third degree guys, because mostly it's all men, of course, other than Eastern Star or what have you, the female orders, that they don't
this is like,
realize at its deepest level what it is. It's crypto Judaism, is what it's been said.
yeah, it
Crypto
is so
Judaism.
dark. Holy moly, it's so dark.
Yeah,
Holy
I
moly. I'm
can.
like,
Yeah,
but what's weird is like in the Eastern Star, it's kind of like a bunch of old people that are like walking around in a labyrinth. And I don't think, but they involve Jesus. Like they pray to Jesus. There's like a
yeah,
Bible in the middle of. So I was just like, I did it because my grandparents, like,
yeah.
kind of were like,
Hmm.
you go do this, and I'm like, I was like, I can't do this. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry.
That's
Um,
probably how a lot of folks get sucked in, is the Jesus angle. So
oh God,
presumably
yeah, I
it's,
know.
yeah, keep your Jesus, but you
Um,
know, yeah, be a Freemason. You know,
but
Buddhists, and
no,
they shouldn't have Buddhists. Buddhists should not be allowed into Freemasonry. Do you know why? Because you must, in order to be an initiate or a member, you must pledge a a belief. You must
found
assert a
secrecy.
belief in a supreme creator or supreme being, which ultimately they
Mhm.
refer to as the great architect of the universe. So, I mean, the
Right.
way I see that, it's logos, you know, cosmos, logos. The Greeks kind of had something going. They were kind of, you know, had it going
I
on there.
kind of
It's,
think
you
of it
know, it's
like
time and
string
space.
theory.
You know. What's
Like
that?
string theory, it's like the invisible thread that animate. It's what I think if I had to describe what God was, I would have to say that it's what leaves the body when you die.
God is
It's
a
the light that moves
concept.
out of the eyes.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, what leaves the body when you die? Oh, I see, the soul returning back home. I guess is
Well,
that
the light, the animation, the process, it's the flicker.
okay? Okay. Well,
Like,
hmm go ahead.
yeah, um, that's what I would. But really, all this talk of God, truly, our higher power is an invisible gas that if we don't breathe in, we die. If we breathe in too much, we get sick.
Oxygen or spiritual energy?
Oxygen.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, don't get me
I
started on
mean,
that one.
really,
Oh,
what are you subject to? You know what? But it's like I explained to my monastery kids about like God or whatever is like, okay, all of these divas and Buddha didn't deny their existence, and those of us that know, we've seen things. But really, if you look at it, samsara is like a high school, and we're in the 10th grade, right? But this diva with all this like merit, they're in the 11th grade, and Buddha, he's like a senior,
he's
and
gone. He's
so
gone. Apparently, he's gone. That's
right, but
why.
no, but I'm just saying we're all like, well, he's outside, he's not even like a factor now, right?
Right.
But so we all are, and but so these people, they worship these gods and these whatever, but they don't realize that we're all part of samsara. So we're at the same high school, just in different grades, getting the same education, and we have to follow the same rules.
That's a good analogy. I really like that. Thank you. Yeah, that's great.
You.
Thank you. So, hey, listen, speaking of death and the soul's release or what have you, and of course, you know, many will say, well, wait a minute, Buddhism, talking about a soul, what's going on? To me, it's like I don't even really make an issue of it because it is what it is, whatever, you know, you want to say or call it. But
Like a process.
NDEs, near death experiences, we might have a little bit difference of opinion on this one, perhaps. But what's your take? Have you looked into NDEs?
I've had one
Oh,
twice.
You flatlined.
Flatlined. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's hear the story.
I had a spontaneous collapse lung, and I walked around on it for 2 days. I got to my mom finally. I went to the hospital. They did an EKG. They turned me away, and I was just like, I had resigned myself. I was like, I was in so much pain. I couldn't breathe, but if I laid on my left side, I could breathe. So I just laid there, and I was like, okay, this is how it ends. Cool. My mom came and she was like, "You're not." I was gonna go to work. My mom was like, "No, I'm taking you to the hospital." And the doctor was like, "I don't know how you're not dead." And
Well,
but I did die.
how
And
did your lung
they
collapse to begin with?
I don't even know. I had gotten a tattoo on the other side of my body. I'd gotten, and I was just sitting there like in my living room, and it just happened.
Weird, weird.
And so I um I went through that. You know how when you're meditating, you go through the ever that happened. There was like a going through sort of like tunnel. Um, But when I got to what I would say is a processing center, that's all I could say is like this blank space, neutral space. There were that I could see ways that you could go here or there or whatever. People, I say processes like airstreams, kind of just going different places. But there was no facilitator. That's what, and I didn't really understand that until I did some studies recently, and I actually found Buddha described kind of what I saw, the bardo. Um, but nothing, there was no director, but there was direction.
The bardo, for the uninitiated, means simply the in between state or some kind of void. Is that right?
Yeah, this was like people were going different places.
Yeah, I get
And
that. Yeah.
and I it wasn't anyone else's voice, it was like my own. And it was like there was no choice, you know. And that's one thing I've seen, most people are like they're offered a choice to either go or stay, and there was no choice, and it just said last time, no choice, go back. And so
Interesting. And you didn't run into cross paths with a spirit guide or anyone to help you, or there no family, deceased family members or pets. We hear about that a lot, and you never meet. Interestingly, people never hear stories about meeting Buddha. Not that I'm familiar with, because he's gone. Is my one of my Dharma friends, Sangha friends. He's like, yeah, he's out of the picture.
it was
Or
busy. I mean, it was like spiritual Grand Central Station. It was
yeah,
just things were moving, and that was.
cosmic internet, I guess. I've heard about that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's the way. That's
But
the
there
way
was
of the
no
universe.
director. There was no director. There was only direction.
How was the feeling? Were you afraid? There no feeling at all, really, or just surprise, or
No, I was just like, okay, this is when I go. I go.
and just totally relaxed. And
Yeah,
you're about what, 22 or something like that?
I was. It was 2014, so I was 34.
Okay. And then so you were at the hospital at this time, or
Actually, it was 13. I was 33.
were you at the hospital? Did an ambulance manage to pick you up, or how were you
No,
resuscitated?
my mom drove me to the hospital.
In a pretty rough state, I guess. Had you already just you were gone already, and she got you in the car and drove you? Thank God she was there, or you would have been
Yeah,
gone.
my ex-husband, he didn't care. He was just like, he was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I'm dying, you moron." Like,
Wow,
that's
that's
so many reasons why we're not married.
I guess
That and
so.
the fact
Yeah,
that, but being married, just like that whole thing, like I just felt like the whole time it like wasn't for me.
right.
Like, why am I? This is
Hmm.
not like whatever.
Actually, you've talked about this connection to the spiritual path, Buddhism, I guess in particular, among after having sought out other different um, ways of going about uh, spiritually identifying, I guess. And myself, uh, interestingly, that I had a famous shaman here in South Korea, just out of the blue. We were talking one day, and she's like, "Yeah, you were a monk here in China in a past life," and we weren't even talking about that. We were just like, totally on a different subject. She just had this thing come to her, and say, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." So, and it makes sense too, as far as my ever since I was a kid, really, uh, watching ants go about their business, really, probably about 7 or 8, maybe, and just fascinated by the logos, the intelligent design, or
Yeah,
what have you. And it's like, wait a minute. like they're kind of like us, only they're smaller, and I guess they have families, and they're making
They
houses
do.
and food, and okay, and that just blew me away. And then I started to think like, well, then there's all these other animals that are similar with their intelligent design. They're built in. They're like an OS, I guess, right? Operating system, and but we have that obviously too. And that's the thing is, but so many of us are lost that we're not. It's like we're not able to connect and to flow just naturally with no hangups, or it,
Because we're conditioned. There's a few people in power.
that's a good point.
They own everything
Yeah,
that you're
yeah.
exposed to.
Woo. Turn off your TVs. Are we gonna get kicked off of
I
YouTube for
haven't
saying
watched
that? I don't know.
television in 20 years,
Well, hey,
except for
ditto,
the
ditto.
occasional. I did watch The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh yeah, Margaret
I did
Atwood.
watch
Yeah.
Cobra Kai, you know,
Which
yeah,
one? Sorry.
Karate Kid.
Oh,
Cobra Kai.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I had to check that out. But
Hey,
really, I don't.
okay. Well, let's talk martial arts. We got a little bit of time left here. Maybe another, if you have 15, maybe 20 minutes tops. We like to keep things to around 90 minutes each feature show that we put together. Of course, for those of you that are late to join us here, we are speaking with Vadali Lotus, aka Tonya Ben Mansour, based out of Mobile, Alabama, I guess is where it is. And we like to talk martial arts, but also this Alabama angle I find really fascinating. I get it's like I let's hear about the martial arts first, and then we'll talk about the mobile angle because it's really kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool. Not only the Bob Dylan song, which I'm guessing you're perhaps
Yeah,
a
stuck
little
in Mobile with the Blues. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, stuck in
I'm
mobile with Memphis Blues again. Did you follow? Let me guess. I'm picking up on something here. Oh yeah. Oh, picking up on something. Well, medieval Renaissance fair. It's weird the synchronicity of that too. I was just watching a documentary on that the other day, and here we bump into you. I didn't have any idea until just like in the last day or so. It's like, whoa, that's kind of cool. And then Alabama too. I was watching actually the Chris Hansen Takedown. It's the follow up series after he did the To Catch a Predator. They moved their operations to Alabama, Blount County. You've heard of Blount County probably? You live there? You
Yeah.
don't live there, do you?
Um, I've been through there. I've driven all through the state, but yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's interesting, and I'm
Hold
not
on.
a huge. Pardon me. Yeah.
All right. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm not. I've been down through the Midwest of the states and other places in the U.S. as well. I don't think I'll ever go
Uh-huh.
back again, frankly, but we'll see. I have no intention or plans, not since September 11th and all the crap that was came along with that. Hi, Danny. Our special needs kitty has arrived, as I thought he would. Right in the middle of things. You're good at doing
Aw.
this stuff. Come here, Danny. He got hit by a car when he was a little guy. And then he came into our um, custody, I guess you'd say, in our home. We
Aw.
we adopted him from a local vet, but he's been traumatized. I think we being hit and then by the car, losing his left bottom half of his rear left leg. He actually was, I think, his right arm as well too was luckily they were able to save it. Thank God. So he's just really lucky to be alive, and he's with us here today.
Aw.
He's our little mascot. And what better mascot to have for a live streaming pirate radio show than a three-legged kitty? You know, it's like he needs
One
that
of my
little wood
martial arts
stump.
students, Dave, he has a cat with one eye. His name is Pirate.
Give him a patch. Patch him in. Oh, you like that? You're down with that, are you, Danny? Good boy. He talks. This is our like he not only like this, but he kind of talks like a human sometimes too. It's really weird, and it's like he's calling the wife's name and all kinds of funky things. So, but yeah, Blount County. I was down through Iowa and Nebraska and where else? Like kind of like Wyoming, I guess, and Dakota. Just through that region, I was actually I hooked up with through the interwebs. It was a good lesson. You talk about chaos magic, left hand path, and darkness and so forth. It was a American witch from a family of witches and with a
Hmm.
grimoire and the whole thing. And I didn't really know about all this until it was too late. But hey, it's like she was an awful person, but the best among the best teachers I've ever had. If you get what I'm kind of
I've had a
saying
few
there.
of
So,
those. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
isn't it something that you got these real jerks, but you look back, it's like they were a pretty good teacher. I learned a few things from these assholes. you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had good teachers and bad teachers.
Yeah. So, but so Blount County, and yeah, they take down. It's kind of the sting operations where I'm not sure if you've seen the videos or not, but
Mobile is really heavy on the human traffic because it's such an intersection point.
Birmingham
You
and
know,
yeah,
I-65 and I-10 intersect through here,
yeah.
and it's horrifying.
What about and the illegals? They were catching a lot of illegals coming in too, mostly from.
I've been telling people for like 15 years, yo, MS-13 is here. They're here. They're moving quietly. They're just doing their drug game, whatever it is they're doing, but they're here. And people were like, oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. I'm like, the guy at the store over on the other side of town had an MS-13 tattoo on his hand. I digress.
Wow,
I'm crazy.
is he still
And
there? No, no. Is he
oh
still
yeah, oh
there, or
my
is
God.
ICE has not rounded
Yeah.
him up?
No, well, I mean, like, they may have gotten him, but
He needs to be reported.
there's a they've been here. I mean, 2024, I think it was, Mobile was who rated the second most dangerous city in the U.S. And now,
Oh,
like,
jeez.
I mean, I was on the way home from my studio one day and I stopped for gas. And like, here's the store, here's the gas pump, and here's the street. And I'm at the gas pump, and this car pulls up here, and then there's like a car here. The car here is like a white guy, two Latino guys, and then this like Charger pulls up with a bunch of Latino guys.
Mm-hmm.
They all go in the store. It didn't appear like they knew each other or had any beef. They come out of the store with beef, and then they go, and then they start screaming and cussing at each other. And I'm literally in. If they had started shooting, I'm in the direct crosshair of what's going on. I'm just like, yo, when did I wake up in LA?
Yeah,
Like, or
interesting, huh?
the Keys or
So,
whatever. Yeah, it's
I really love the country, the country, like the farm life, and
yeah.
just.
I live outside of the city. I live in the rural area.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great.
I
It's
live on
it's
a
it's
dirt road and I have a well. It's great.
beautiful, excellent. So, and your martial arts academy, it seems to be going well, along with your various other yoga, uh,
Hmm.
services and Reiki and so forth. So, do you have partners in all of this, or you're just on your totally on your own? Wow. So that studio is yours, and you're the wow. Well, way to go. That's really impressive. So, what do you care to tell us then about? I took a little bit of Taekwondo back in the day, and I was told that if someone comes at you with a knife, our teacher he asked what he would do, and he told us he would run. Yeah.
That's your best knife defense. Situational awareness. Be
Right.
aware.
I always sit with my
Um,
back to the wall anytime I go into any
yeah.
restaurant. It's just a habit. So yeah.
I mean, and life is not pretty. A lot of times you're gonna get hit before you know you've been hit, and you just have to deal with the aftermath, the shock of that, and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
In a real situation. If someone comes at you with a knife, there we do teach a lot of knife defense. Like with the Krav Maga, like my instructor, he is he's probably the best Krav Maga I've found out there, like the real deal. I've gone to Israel and trained with him. He trains the Israeli elite guard. And I mean, as far as Israel goes, and he and I, like, he's super Orthodox Jew, and I obviously, as I stated, do not support Israel and what they do. Um, so we just don't talk about it. He knows
Right.
my stance, but we don't have to meet on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So I love their martial art, and I can't stand their politics. But
Exactly.
um,
Yeah.
but to it's not a kung fu movie. A real situation, a real violent encounter is very messy. It's very violent. Um, Grabbing goes out the window. Fine motor skills kind of disappear. You'll get visual dilation where you'll get tunnel vision. Palms start sweating, heart starts racing. You'll get dizzy. It'll feel like you're punching through water, and you're like, I'm not even hurting this guy, and then the next thing you know, their face is open. That sort of, there's so there's tournament sports, and then there's combatives, and you know, people train for various different reasons. Some people just kind of want to feel better. They want some confidence. They want to compete in a sport. Um, and I think that some others have other goals. And so, you know,
Ult-
wushu is great, but wushu is not going to do anything for me with a gun pulled. I had a gun pulled on me like a month and a half ago.
really?
Yeah, it was a guy that lives literally, I can see his front porch from the
Jeez.
back side of my business.
Wow.
I had a package delivered, it went to the wrong house. And I went there after I finished teaching around 7. And this guy literally opens his door and steps back with a gun, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I'm like, I
You're,
didn't. I was just like, I just raised my hands like we are trained to, and I'm like, okay. I was like,
jeez.
"Sir, you have a package with, my name on it. That's all I want. I just want to, And he's like, "Yeah, I do have a package." And I was like, "This is a bit overkill." And then he ended up shaking my hand or whatever. But I mean,
Jeez. No
yeah, like
kidding. What's he hiding? Who's he got locked up down the basement?
that's what I want. I'm like, because to me, if I get a package with someone else's name, I'm gonna expect a knock at my door at some
Uh-huh.
point.
Sure, yeah, and you don't have to pull a gun. That's for damn sure.
I'm not gonna be surprised. And you know what? I have had to answer my door with a gun before, and that person never knew I had it with me.
Uh-huh.
It was it was under my it was right here, is like, down at my side, inside the door. Like there's gun etiquette, and there's yeah. So I mean, I didn't act. Yeah, he would have been within complete legal right. It's his home. I'm on his front porch. I knocked on his door.
Yeah.
And in the state of Alabama, we have castle laws,
Yeah.
stand your ground law. So I could not disarm him. I couldn't, because
Right.
uh, and I wouldn't have. I
What
didn't
what if
feel
you
like
well, it's something like that, and where people just get blown away in a situation such as that, and then it does
it
get
happens all
rather,
the time.
pardon me?
It happens all the time.
Just because something as innocent as that, you know?
Yeah, and that's why the Buddha says, we have to sit back and observe, to not jump with our emotions,
Just
with our fear.
absorb. Is that what he said? I think absorb.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Observe,
Observe,
observe.
yes. Maybe and absorb possibly too, I guess.
Hmm.
So, uh well, I mean, the whole thing of martial arts, of course, we can just have a quick overview, rundown, recap of, I mean, all your training, uh so many things that we've covered so far have got me interested in wanting to kind of circle back and revisit to some extent, but uh the Masonic
I
angle
started
was quite intriguing, your
I
whole
started with Taekwondo,
right.
and my sensei, I was really close to his daughter, and I think I was there. every weekend so she didn't get the crap beat out of her. He
What
ended up.
what age? 12, 13?
I started with him when I was 9,
Mm,
trained with him until I was 12,
okay.
and then shortly thereafter he started smoking crack and almost killed his wife and kids and went to prison for a while.
Jeez.
Then when he got out of prison, he actually looked me up and asked me to like fix his hip until he could go to Thailand for surgery. And I mean, I
Fix
did
fixes what? Sorry.
fix his hip. He had a hip issue.
Oh, hip. I
He
see.
needed- Yeah, hip.
Oh,
And
oh,
then I
medical
trained under
medical
huh?
tourism, I guess, in Thailand. Is that right? He was hip
Yeah,
replacement. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He had a necrosis in his hip. He had to go get it
Ooh,
taken.
yikes.
But and then I trained under Shidaru, Shanlu, Shaolin monk from the age of 13 until the age of
Wow.
34,
Wow.
35.
Wow. So like
And
a
then I opened my own
wow.
school, and he didn't like that, and I don't know, it like got in his ego, and even though I wasn't even teaching really the same thing that he was doing, because I had been trained, I found Moshe back in 2014, 2015, 2015, no, 2014.
You found what? I'm sorry?
Um, Moshe, my Krav Maga sensei,
Ah.
and so I was doing both, and but my sensei, he just Shitter didn't like I think it was just a control thing. And but now we're cool. You know, I just called it because I heard that he was oh, it was so weird. Someone had come to me to learn Reiki and she was training there and she was like, "Oh yeah, I mentioned to him and he said that you used to talk in class." And I was like, "Yeah, when I was 13." Like that's the only shit he can think of to talk right now. So, but and it was this big thing, but so I messaged him. I was like, so I hear you have things to say, and I feel like I'm gonna give you the opportunity to say them. And now we're cool. So
It was it, and this was a Shaolin monk, correct?
yeah,
Ah.
yeah.
So Chinese American?
No, Chinese. I mean, I'm sure he's got his citizenship now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so
So
yeah.
Chinese American.
Yeah, breaking news here, and I'm not sure who Peter Carroll was, but Zane Ivy telling us in the YouTube comment section that they just passed away. Best, I can see here properly, best month in reference to your mention of chaos magic. So he
Oh,
was. Here we go. He was one of the primary founders of chaos magic. Zane is that's Peter Carroll once again for those who are not familiar with the the name. But Zane is an expat, American U.S. expat. I myself Canadian living here in Korea. Zane has been here, I think, even longer than I have. Both of us with Korean significant others. I think he's pretty
I
open.
think.
Yeah, he's like former like uh, U.S. military intelligence, essentially. Some pretty funky stuff. Like that was one of the things I was wanting to bounce off of you, actually, with the Space Force business. And if you go through our archives, you'll see we interviewed Richard Sauter a couple weeks ago regarding deep
Cool.
underground military bunkers. You've
We'll have to talk about the gate program sometime. I was a gateway kid.
Oh, well, yeah, yeah. Well, that's what, and I never
My
finished.
whole entire school career.
You
By the
well,
time I was 16, I had gone to specially selected military leadership camp and had
uh-huh.
done paratroop training,
By
full military boot camp,
what age?
15 and 16.
Right. And Christian Laterre, who I never finished the thought earlier, but
Sorry.
I think he came up in the slideshow at the we were during the pre production end of things. We're working here behind the scenes, and we've had him on in the past. He's out of Alberta now, but originally Quebec, Canada, and the CIA, as you're probably aware, they're not technically allowed to operate in the states. So Canada
Right.
is completely free game. It's a fair game. It's
Yeah,
have at it, right?
Ukraine.
So
Their main base is in Ukraine. That's
yeah,
Ukraine war.
uh,
Hello.
Mm-hmm. But MK Ultra and the Montauk Project, which I think there's some overlap there, perhaps. Did you say gate or
There is.
gateway? It
Yep, the
special
GATE program.
kids with special maybe psychic or intuitive gifts, or who
Yeah.
knows what. Tell us more about
Yeah,
that then, if you would.
well, I mean, my guidance counselor used to get me out of class and she'd sit me at her desk and with a deck of tarot cards and like ask me things and want me to pull and like base that's how I learned to read tarot.
Oh yeah.
Um, they would pull us out of class and use the Zener cards a lot. Um, tones. They would want us to hear tones, visualize things when we heard the tone, and predicting the tone. They were wanting us to sometimes see if we could predict what tone would come through,
That's I
like what
guess
ear.
all that work in that area is ultimately what led to you becoming Tonya.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. Or sorry, I can't help the occasional bad pun or
Oh,
two.
no, I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
tone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So there we go. It's yeah, gateway, and Robert Monroe, I think. Is that right? The
Yeah.
OBE and NDE and different. I've never
Yeah, he
gone.
did all that.
It's terrible though. Like the Montauk Project, the way that they would. I don't know if you had to endure this, but some pretty extreme situations. The point where they're actually even like kids are getting killed. They're just dying. And
You hear about the Monster Project?
the what?
The Monster Project.
Oh well, that's what
With
he was involved in here. The Stranger Things business, correct?
well, the Monster project is something different. That's where they literally tortured kids and because they wanted to elicit certain responses. They wanted to see if a child like what would become of the adult and I could be stating this wrong. Um what would become of an adult like of a child raised by trauma, things like that.
Yeah. Hashtag
Called the Monster.
Charles Manson. So who knows
Yeah.
exactly, but it's horrific. And to think of the numbers of people, young people in particularly, that go missing every year in just like the states as an example, it's mind-boggling. And we're not talking national parks like David Paulides missing 411 411 necessarily, but the human trafficking, as you touched
Mhm.
upon earlier, and under the Biden administration, especially, I'm sure it's I don't know how much it's changed since Trump came to power, but um, it's just horrific, heartbreaking, and it's
Yeah.
unfortunate more
I
couldn't be
mean, the
done to
stuff that
help people.
yeah, and it's not to help people, it's to learn how to control and they were trying to weaponize consciousness. I think they
Right.
were training us for remote viewing. So much remote viewing training that was really helpful with Reiki level 2 because that's all remote viewing. You're doing distant healing.
Oh, how
Um,
about that? Interesting.
we would be asked to um, like we were shown a box and we were asked to if we could see or visualize what was in the box,
Oh, and
stuff like that.
how
I had a
successful
98% success rate.
can you still do this now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot better if I'm like well rested and, but yeah.
Oh, how about that? So we're just multitasking a little bit here at the moment. You have to excuse us. Uh, we are listening though, and Gully Rat has just jumped in here via the
Love
you.
the name.
Yeah, what does that even mean? Gully Rat, just from the back out of the back alleys of Birmingham.
Down in the gully, the rat coming out. I don't know.
I guess gully, yeah, like a little valley.
Mhm.
Who knows what exactly? But all right. No, we've actually, he's been someone who's connected with us here and been on, someone no stranger to the show now for the past few years. So good stuff. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments, or what have you, folks, last few minutes here as we wind down. How influenced was Christ by Mahayana Buddhism? It's a lot of scholars have picked up on the
They modeled the
similarity.
Bodhisattva after Jesus to like up their numbers.
Pardon me?
I think they kind of modeled the whole Zen Bodhisattva after Jesus to kind of keep people interested, to keep people from going towards Jesus. Like, oh no, we got our own guy over here. It's okay.
Oh,
I
you
don't
mean
know.
a bit as a deterrent or something to counter the popularity of Greco-Buddhism, which
But
900 years of Greco-Buddhism. Um,
the timing is a little fishy,
it
and
is, yeah.
it kind of came right hand in hand.
And the Silk Roads, as they were, the
And
Ashoka and the influence of the inter
and the prospect
exchange,
that Jesus
Alexander.
disappeared for a while and was probably in India talking about thine eye, truth
Oh,
shall be known by thine eye.
yeah, right. Christ,
Yeah,
yeah. And yeah,
yeah.
the 18 just kind of magical, mysterious missing years, which nobody you're not supposed to think about. Just trust.
Like, oh no, don't ask questions.
Yeah,
Just say hate that.
just let it all just sort of slide. And so, but the way I look at it, you got Christ on the one hand, Buddha on the other, and they're like little chunks of gold, what we here in Korea called ton, which is the original word for money. Interestingly, these gold, I don't know if they're ingots, just little blocks, basically squares, and
Knowledge nugget.
exactly. So Christ
Yeah.
and Buddha, each in their own little separate glass of really clear water. Only problem is with Christ and his glass of water, it gets muddied by the politics. It gets really muddied
It
by the
gets muddy.
politics.
Well, I think that people, and I found out that King James was actually a direct great grandfather of some sort. The book was written by him, who was a woman hating pedophile. The way the book was translated, you can't really get a clear picture because it's been so muddled and made into a control manual that I don't think that it's anywhere near what the original text would have said.
Yeah, they call it the word, but so many people seem to forget that the actual word is its logos, and it's right there in the book of John, the opening statement that in the beginning was the word. The word was of God, and the word was God, something to that effect. And every time you see it in the original Koine Greek, it's logos. That is the word. And it's all around us, obviously,
Mm.
within you and without you,
It's
uh,
the hum.
time and
It's the hum.
space. So, but that's the and so it's really I find how kind of sad the way so many people are sucked in. These preachers that get up and they start shaking their Bible and the Word of God, one true Word of God, and at the point here it
I
is
got thrown out of church when I was 7.
it's a little
So
it's a little word. You got run. Well, a lot of people do. So too many questions.
I went to this Baptist private school, and the preacher got expelled for banging the deacon's wife. You
Oh
can't
yeah.
keep that a secret. So we all knew about it. And the last sermon that he gave, he was just like giving it about adultery, but he was like, "Ah," like sort of talking to the congregation like they were, adulterers. Like he didn't just go bang the deacon's wife. I digress.
And a
And
hypocrite too. Christ's favorite word,
and I
hypocrite.
stood up in the pew and I was like, "You're a hypocrite." Blah, 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 blah.
Uh,
I was like, "How can you say that?" And
you
then
were
they
7.
did, yeah,
So and everybody knew that this was the case. I guess was it so? And
yeah.
where
So
was this? Was this Alabama? That's the state you were born and raised in.
Yeah, Magnolia Springs Baptist School, and thank God, like the church is still there, which is bad enough, but at least the school's not there anymore. Uh, as my punishment for being a disruption and being unruly and rude was to stand there with like books on your hands instead of having to go to chapel. So I was like, cool. I acted a donkey and now I don't have to go to chapel. I have to hold the heavy books, but it's not as bad as sitting through their crappy church service. So it was kind of
Boring.
like their punishment was a win.
Yeah, yeah. So Gully Rat is chiming in here, stating that they once studied remote viewing techniques, only dabbled in it a bit. Seems something info becomes apparent. Straining to see on the distant monitor here, but biggest trick is setting aside our imagination. Would you concur?
Yeah. Um yeah, it is setting aside your imagination and being able to let go of the tether of location, like the idea that you're anchored into where you're sitting.
Non-locality.
Hmm.
Interesting.
That was kind of my focus, was to go to here to a point and then just like release thought. However, that's what I tell people. I'm like, you sit down and meditate, it might be months, and then you might get frustrated, and then one day it happens.
Interesting.
You're like,
Interesting.
um, but yeah, a place of like non-location.
And with the and spooky action at a distance, that's always something that for me, when I hear about non-locality, I can't help thinking about. So just it's just Maya, the time and space illusion, frankly, as it is, right? So this big matrix that we're all a part of, little nodes. Oh God, there's so many little other. I know we're missing out on a lot of good things here, but we'll have to have you back some other time and to
I'd love to.
discuss.
I'm really glad that we met. Thank you for Charlatan Monk for doing that, and because he sent me the interview, like he was super proud of going on your show, and he was like, "Oh, watch my interview," and he messaged it to me.
Oh,
And I'm
well,
like,
that's great. Yeah, I invited him to
yeah,
check out what we're doing
I
here
don't
today.
dislike him. I think he's just very misguided.
There you go.
And but I think before he opens his mouth and tries to teach people the Dharma, that just make sure what you're saying is true, that you're not going to lead people into superstition.
Yeah, that did seem pretty. I never really heard that before, other than within the context, like the meeting of two minds. The Tibetans talk about this. I guess it's a teacher-student
It's culty.
relationship.
It's culty AF, man. It's culty AF.
Yeah, well, and opens the doors to wide open
It was not
to
about
abuse
gatekeeping.
and
Yeah,
exploitation.
he was not about gatekeeping. He was not about these superstitions. He was not one to go, there's this magical recipe. Oh, you heard this person speak, and so it's magically okay. No, man, you still gotta. What about the Arhat? I can't remember his name, but he became Arhat, but all this bad stuff kept happening because you still have that karma, dude. You still gotta pay the piper.
Yeah. He's work out your salvation with
Yeah.
diligence. So, and now I'd like to see the original Theravada, and let's not forget it was all an oral tradition. That's what makes it kind of problematic in some ways, clearly, because so much was an oral tradition passed down from the unbroken lineage from
Like, why
teacher to
didn't y'all
student.
write it down like right after dude died? Second he died, I would have been like, okay, guys, let me get my stone tablet here.
Uh, But I think how long was it an oral tradition until they finally did? It was like the first
About
century.
300, I think it was like 300 years.
Yeah. And there how many councils by the time of Christ? Were there three great councils that were held. I know Ashoka had such a huge. Ashoka was so instrumental. I think that was,
King Ashoka in India,
yeah,
that, yeah.
like in
But then
in
after he died,
proselytizing, spreading the Dharma, right? Like take it and go, as what Christ talked about, take it and go. These days, though, Buddhists
but
don't really
the
they don't
best way to
proselytize.
proselytize, the best way to teach the Dharma is through your own actions,
There you go. That's
through
right.
how you make others feel.
That yeah. I'm sorry. How you help to make others feel.
Yeah, what is the essence that you know how, like, if someone walks in the room and they're in a bad mood, you're like, oh, the whole room shifts, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, Viraya, one of the seven factors of enlightenment is your energy.
Mm.
Like, what are you going forth with? Um,
Yeah.
so it's, that's the best way to teach the Dharma to
Mm-hmm.
others is through our actions.
Varaya, I think, Vril, as it was known, and I don't know if it's prior to Hitler's Germany or what, but I think it comes from the words are related. Is vital essence and energy,
Viraya,
virility. Yeah,
Viria. Yeah,
virile
I know.
virility. Hmm.
I have a thing because I'm like, ooh, we are casting spells, right? So like, I love words, and I'm like, ooh, just
Right.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, to me, as with many men, I'm sure the whole business of semen retention, if you catch my drift, and
hmm
the power, spiritual power, then rather than releasing it in the kind of selfish, indulgent way, that you save it and you work with it, and as I was talking about earlier, this Tonglen practice, you can integrate it into that, and at least in a visual way, and raising the vibe and energy, and to working the
I met
transformative end and giving it back to the have the
my
universe where it's
yoga
needed.
guru that passed away. He incidentally taught me. Very lucky to have come across it. The Kaya Kalpa Yoga, known as the Immortal Yoga. And the technology of this technique is to transmit like transfer, transmute sexual energy into spiritual energy. So they're not the same. So these traditions that
Ah,
say that they are, no, they're not the same. Spiritual and sexual energy. Sexual energy is based in craving, animal instinct, desire. There's nothing spiritual about an orgasm.
le petit mort, en français, the little death, as the French know it.
Yeah,
So
total death. I mean, so what? It makes people forget about their crappy lives and the fact that they, are at war with themselves for 5 seconds.
do you I'm just a quick question here before we call it a day. You are aware, um within the context of what we're unpacking here, the leading cause of death.
Is death
Close. You're yeah, you're on the right track. The leading cause of death. Death would be the
birth?
effect. There you go. Of course, that was too easy. See, you're of course because you're a long time practitioner. There. A lot. We throw this out there from time to time when we have over the course of our various shows, and kind of people scratch their heads. Cancer, car crashes, heart attacks, COVID. Oh shit! Can we say
The
that
leading
on
cause of
YouTube?
divorce, marriage. I mean,
Right, right. So no birth, no death. No birth, no
right?
death. And there, leave it at that for now, I guess. But final comment here from Gully Rat, talking about how it was a former sewer maintenance rat. That's right. Yeah, this guy is pretty cool, man. Yeah, he's deep. He's deep. He's done his research, and he's well read. I remember that. So plus guilty. God, bloody hell, Gully maybe could refer to the bowels of a ship. Yeah, down in the brig, or the we're having a pretty much kind of a
I'm
talk.
thinking of Fern Gully.
Yeah,
Yeah, have you
exactly.
heard?
Yeah, yeah, a little. down into a little gully or burn is, I
Yeah.
think it's more American style. Holler, out and down there in the holler, playing on Copperhead Road. Yeah, you got to be careful heading out there in the holler. Never know what you're gonna stumble across. So, um, but it's been a real pleasure, and hope to speak to you again at some point. As we've got your what?
Anytime. You're awesome.
Oh, hey, well, right back at you. So yes, um, uh, we've got your website information, of course. The exact link of which let's hear from you. We got your, I think, Facebook. You got Instagram and everything. Are all your social media connected to your? Is it the Cognitive Healing or Wellness site? Is what's the name once again?
It's www.integritywellnessanddefense.com.
So does it have all your other various like personal social media links? Because I couldn't. I took a look and I couldn't.
Honestly, I gotta my friend Ashley and I she's if you ever need like she is
We'll pair.
the most amazing
We need.
graphic person, but
Well,
I
we
don't
need.
know if it's
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah. Let's
It
talk to
should
Ashley.
be.
Okay. And we got gratuity, pirate gratuity for anyone out there listening, including Ashley. I know that we've had Sonia Galactic here, has been a great help. She's relocated now down to Texas, and we got people that have pitched in and done a little bit here and there, and that's the way. Like with our network vision, if you look at if you click on the info links to what we're World Pirate Radio Podcast Network all about, everyone
Right?
just
It's about
bring
bartering and lifting each other up.
that is a central part of it, exactly, but also just bring to the table what skill set you have, and
That's
see
how
who and just give freely, as well as barter or what makes some
exactly.
kind of deal. But just what would Robin Hood do? Come on, people. So the hashtag WWRHD.
Right.
What would
It's like
Tanya
when I tell
do?
people if they're coming to a yoga class, you go to yoga classes so you learn, right? So that you can build your own practice. That's what the teacher should be
Right,
stressing.
right. Yeah, ultimately, so that's the point where they surpass the teacher actually in anything, like
Yeah, or that
really.
you have the ability to make your own practice and you can do it at home, you can do it wherever, and you don't need someone leading you through that.
There you go.
I know it's
Okay.
a terrible business model, but
Yeah, well, yeah, putting ourselves out of work. That's right. So it's that's the catch 22. But hey, we'll be in contact here shortly. We'll get the archived edition of things out to you as soon as we can via BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey. So and YouTube.
cool.
They like to censor things as where they can. So who knows? Maybe we got a strike with this show because of some one we used one of their the wrong words that triggered their algorithm, or God only knows. Fakebook did they delete everything in his memory hold after 1 month, so can't rely
Yeah,
on them.
you have to download your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's something maybe you should think of if you have the time. I know because you got your YouTube channel, but get some more work on getting some more quality content up there. You're free to share what we've done here this week if you're down with that, if you'd like
I
to.
would
And
love to share it. No, I want to share your show. I was looking at it. I think it's really like you try to touch on topics that matter. Like you're trying to bring awareness to things and you're just trying to get to the meat and potatoes of it. And I appreciate the opportunity to share a platform with you. I think it's great.
yeah, just in particular this our conversation, if you'd like to get it uploaded to your YouTube channel, or you do it whatever you like, of course, but that's all
Yeah,
I was thinking
I would
of here.
love
So
that. Yeah, and I'll tag you and
yep,
yeah,
sounds
tell
good.
everyone about your show because it's cool.
Alrighty then. Yeah. So in Korea, as we say here, it's a songbul haseo. Wishing you and everyone else out there listening a speedy enlightenment. Have a great weekend, Tanya.
You too. Om Namo Buddhaya. Bye.
Happy sailing. All right. So yeah, there we go with Tonya Ben Mansour, aka Vadali Lotus. Didn't want to take too much of her time. It's usually about 90 minutes or so. Is how we like to, is what we allot here for the live streams. Um, Speaking of which, it is busking season here in South Korea. Jaffe finally has a real amplifier, street busking amplifier, at his disposal as well too. Can you believe it? So you know what that probably means: a little less live streaming and a little more action out there, street level, in working to do what we can to connect with people and offer them the gift of music as best we can, frankly. So even to the point where we sometimes, like, we bring with us every time we head out, tambourine, maracas, and little music sticks and whatnot, just to the teenagers, or even if you can convince some adults to get involved, that's always a lot of fun too. But hoping that everyone enjoyed the show. We'd like to try and be back here this coming uh, Thursday for the news. No guarantees, of course. That's Wednesday back in the West, of course. Uh, so we'll see. Same time as always. Just different days now with the new work schedule. Of course, had to update things here. Uh, Kicking off 2026, and we might have Mr. Robot back on in the feature slot capacity in 2 weeks. That's the way we're doing things, essentially. Just once every 2 weeks, a feature show. Uh, Definitely, scaling things back. We figure we've put enough time and effort, energy, virility, uh, into getting this thing off the road, or on the road, off and running. Probably done a few things that have contributed into steering it off the road as well, but uh, we can always return to center, I suppose, too, right? That's part of the deal, presumably. So, uh, one of the reasons that we're here this go around doing what we've done. Um, WPRPN.com, once again, the main website, Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com. Our email address, if you have any PayPal support you'd like to send our way, challenge us to do more live streams. The biggest donation we ever had was 500 doubloons. And trust me, that does a lot as far as providing wind for our sails, and making us look more at the live streaming end of things than street busking. Trust me. Along with that, keep in mind that half of everything we do uh, manage to generate goes directly back to the grassroots. That is our pledge and promise to you. To the point, if people are doubting this, we can even offer screenshots of our PayPal. Not a problem. Uh, but galacticfire.com as well is where we've got our Pirate Booty coffee mugs, great t-shirts as well. Thanks to the work that Sonia Galactic has put into making that end of things a success. To the point that we have things currently digital support as well too, or anything else that you can think of, just outside of the box, is what we fully encourage people to engage and embrace. Liking, commenting, sharing, remembering to hit subscription, notification buttons, passing word along to friends, family, and coworkers. There's a great picture of Philip Mantel. Hope that he's doing okay. He was struggling with some health issues, primarily the heart. So let's pray for him. Let's try to send him what positive energy we can. He is still with us, even though having had to make a couple of emergency visits to the hospital for what we were told was a heart related issue. It's a shame we weren't able to have him join us at the point in time where he was booked, in fact. So just these things happen, though. Medical or personal, family related emergencies do arise and occur time to time. So he's over in the UK too, in case anyone is wondering. So this thought intention business too, really interesting. Didn't get a chance to bounce that one off of Tonya, but I bet you she'd be down with something like that. And she'd be the best person to guide us through the thought intention experiment, something that Art Bell often, back in the day, well, I don't know about often necessarily, but he was no stranger to the thought intention experiment philosophy and approach. There's a great shot of the late Alan Watt and his dog Hamish. Beautiful picture. Now you see them, now you don't. And he really had a lot to offer the world. There's no doubt about it. Just really, really great guy. A beautiful dog too. So it's sad that he was only with us such a short time. Host of Cutting Through the Matrix podcast, whose archives it can still be freely accessed. So do take advantage of that, folks. We sent him $100 back in the day. I'm not sure who handles that end of the operation at this point in time, but we felt it was well worth it, and he did get back to us via email. We never were able to have him as a guest, unfortunately, but he was a really valuable and instrumental and influential voice, really, and intellect. Someone who was extremely well read and knowledgeable in a wide range of areas. So, yeah. But there we go. I think that about does it, folks. We put a fork in it, and we will next connect when we see one another, of course. Keep in touch. Send us an email, pirateoneradio@protonmail.com. Keep the conversation going, and have a great weekend on behalf of Captain Long John Sinclair and all the rest of the crew here down in Skullport Harbor, until we meet again via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas. I'm your host, as always, the Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, reminding you, as always, to keep your ear to the ground and eyes to the sky. Tally-ho!
I know. There we be. Having carefully looked over each of our navigation panel instruments,
checking every level, switch, dial, cable, knob, and pulley, by all accounts and indications, we indeed see it's time, once again, to drop anchor inside Mystic Bay.
Draw an end to yet another week of World Pirate Radio Live.
Remember,
if you're looking for a little more animated online action,
keep in mind we've likely got yet another great free-flowing Rogues Gallery after show
coming up for the next hour in one of our more premium, exclusive, and remote digital underground online pirate hideaways. Also,
If you yourself have a new,
novel, intriguing, or otherwise underreported idea, unique individual, or pressing item in mind, be sure to either drop us a line directly over on WPRPN.com or fire us a quick email
via Pirate One Radio
at protonmail.com.
We're always open to exploring fresh creative suggestions, intriguing guest ideas, cutting-edge discussion topics, and captivating themes.
Remember, WPRPN.com member site subdomain links are also always available.
Great for artists, musicians, podcasters, bloggers, social media personalities,
or pretty much just any old land lover
looking to boost their online visibility, presence, and reach.
Basic personal profile accounts can be launched for just $60 per year.
Staking your claim now helps not only strengthen you and the network, we're also looking out for the little guy. That's right, folks. As much as half of all WPRPN's profits are redirected right back into the hands of the people who really need it most. Community charity. After all, we are the Robin Hood.
You can further embark on your own personal pirate journey by either liking, sharing,
commenting on, subscribing to, or just following us via virtually any mainstream social media platform, including Twitter, Facebook,
Gab,
or Minds.com. So don't forget to become engaged. Until we meet again out on the high digital seas, I'm your host as always, the ship's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. Tally-ho.